How to have a great and safe camping trip. Many people look at camping trips as a great escape from their daily stresses and lives. However, it is important to be adequately prepared. Fortunately, in the article below, you will find information you need to have a great camping experience. Pack and unpack your bags a few times. This will give you a good feel how best to arrange your belongings to maximize space and to help you pinpoint anything that you may have forgotten. Another thing that often happens, people will often forget to build their shelter before sunset. It's hard and frustrating to set up a tent in the dark. You will have to have a flashlight to create a fire. Trust me, it's much easier to set up a shelter before dark. Also, a tent needs to be the proper size for all people staying in it. This assures there is enough sleeping and moving around area. By the way, you will get dirty camping. Setting out knowing this in advance will help combat this. Enjoy hanging out in the wilderness and don't worry too much about getting messy. You can always return to being clean and civilized when you get back home. Remember food safety when you go camping. Always place food in sealed containers so it doesn't come in contact with water. Store your food in an insulated cooler. Cooked and raw food needs to be stored separately to avoid contamination. Use hand sanitizer and soap to keep hands as well as preparation surfaces clean while you're handling food. Remember to cook foods to the proper temperature and cool foods quickly. Another important tip, always carry a trail map of the places around the campsite. It is quite easy to become lost in an unfamiliar territory. Having a map handy will prove invaluable. It will help you find yourself, and you can return to the campsite before night falls. Is this the first time you've been camping? Before you go out and start your trip, practice setting up the tent. When you do this, you'll know exactly what it will take to set up your tent in a timely manner. This will also enable you to do this task quickly if you arrive at the campsite right before darkness sets in. If you are a camping novice, you should initially stay near home. You could experience a number of problems, such as equipment failure, and wish to cut your trip short. Others may find that they have a shortage of food or their clothing isn't appropriate. A lot of issues can happen for a new camper, so don't go too far, on your first trip. A good campsite should include a good place for restroom needs. The facility doesn't need to provide a porta potty. The big key here is to make sure there's a place available to relieve yourself. Do a complete check to make sure that you have taken along enough bathroom tissue with you so that you will not need to get stuck using leaves. It is imperative that tablets that help purify water are brought with you anytime you go camping. Even if you're planning on bringing your own water or boiling it on site, you never know when an emergency might arise. Moreover, you should experiment with the tablets at home so you know what to expect when using them out in the wilderness. You don't want to become dehydrated on your trip and end up drinking dirty water. If you're going camping with children, eat a jungle breakfast. To do this, tie cereal and juice boxes to trees so that your kids have to hunt for their breakfast. When your kids get up, have them hunt down their breakfast. This adds a little sparkle of adventure and excitement to any camping trip. Check it twice, pack it once. Always make sure you have everything you need before you go camping. Your trip will not be as fun if you forget imperative items. It's very helpful to write out a list and cross each item off once you have packed it. Be sure your list includes the tent, sleeping bags, as well as food items and personal hygiene items. Follow safety procedures. It's usually best to avoid wild animals, big or small, that you may encounter. Even the smallest creatures can be surprisingly dangerous. If you encounter a bear, resist the urge to feed them. Also take the time to learn compass and map reading. It is still possible to get lost at campgrounds, even though you have already been there, because campsites look similar. Learn to use these survival tools to prevent potential bad situations. As mentioned initially in this article, taking a camping trip is usually a fun adventure. Remember, you must be prepared if you want things to go well. Applying these ideas found above to guarantee a fabulous excursion in the great outdoors. And make sure you do one extra thing, and that's have a good time.